Danny's legacy is still alive. We're about to get the lowdown on Bloodline Season 2 with my very special Spotlight On guest, Owen Teague, right here on AFTERBUZZ TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, the music. Just the music is getting me excited. What's up, everyone? You are watching a very special Spotlight On here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I am your host, Blake V. And I was about to say my Twitter handle, but no, my name is Blake V. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Blake V Media. And I'm joined by my very special guest today, Owen Teague. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so
Me
much
too.
for coming through and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
We do. So you may know Owen from his previous projects, Echoes of War, Wild and Blue, and Bloodline, of course. And I'm very excited. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'd love to talk a little bit about your previous projects, and
Okay.
then we'll kind of touch on Bloodline. I am part of the Bloodline panel here at AFTERBUZZ TV. We covered season 1. It was amazing. The show sucked us in. If you haven't watched it yet, it's such a fantastic show. We've been waiting so long for season 2. I feel like it's been 100 years.
Yeah.
They've really kept us waiting, right?
Yeah. I come to school or whatever, and people will ask me, when's season 2 coming out?
You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, and up until a few months ago, I was just like, I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Yes.
They tell me very little.
They left you with a lot of pressure, having everyone ask you when season 2 is,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're all dying to know. Well, we have the answer now. You can tune in to season 2, May 27th on Netflix is where you can catch it. And we've just been just waiting for the day. So May 27th, you can check it out.
Yeah.
And it's actually very fitting that we have you here, Owen, because we are left with your final line on season 1.
I am the final bit of season 1. That was pretty exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty major.
Yeah.
So Owen plays Danny Rayburn's son on Bloodline, Nolan Rayburn.
Yep.
And we just barely get introduced to him in season 1. The cliffhangers are just painful.
Yeah. That's one of their things. Cliffhangers and flashbacks.
They love it, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's great. The show's really put together fantastically, and we lost Danny Rayburn last season, sadly. But then you emerge as Danny's son.
Out of the darkness.
You truly. And that's what we're left with at the end of season 1 is Owen, Nolan, saying, I'm his son.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? So that's why we're dying, why it's taken so long for Bloodline to come back. We're like, we need to know. So this show is really just fantastic. We were immediate fans here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Just all the characters are so interesting and well casted, and we'll get into that in a second. But you specifically, you're fantastic. Let me just say.
Thank you.
You're so young. What are you? 16?
17.
17. Okay, 17. You're fantastic.
Nice.
You've had a great resume so far. It's interesting to me because some of your projects, so like Echoes of War with Ethan Embry was a period piece.
Yep.
1920s, 1930s, American South?
It's actually like 1860s.
Oh, is it?
It's right after the Civil War. It's about a guy who comes home from the Civil War, which is James Badge Dale, and he finds his family of trappers getting their traps raided by the neighboring family, who apparently they have some debt to pay to this other family, and it's this big kind of like families versus each other.
Okay.
And he comes home and he's got PTSD, and so it's like he doesn't do so well with that.
Yeah.
And that was we shot that out in Austin, Texas, in this little like kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what you would call it. It's like one of those places where you go to like for history field trips.
Okay. Oh, right.
And they're like old houses.
Yeah.
Right. And it was I'm forgetting the name right now, but that's where we shot it in this little actual frontier houses.
So you really felt like you were back in time.
Yeah, and all the we had like real trappers on set who would consult with how to work the traps, and
amazing.
It was
Very authentic.
Very, very authentic. We had real coyotes too.
Fantastic. So how did you feel? Was that your first period piece project?
That
How did you feel about that? Was that exciting
it was
for
super
you?
cool. Yeah.
Nice.
I love that stuff. I love history.
That's very cool. And
Yeah.
was this your most recent project that's been out to the public for them to see, Echoes of War?
No.
No, you've had a more recent one.
Mercy Street actually was
Okay.
the most recent.
Great.
I think. Yeah, and that was another period piece, which is about the Civil War as well. Only
Interesting.
during the Civil War in the hospitals. And Norbert Leo Butz, who plays Kevin on Bloodline,
He was in it with you?
he plays one of the major characters of that show.
Very
I was just
cool.
kind of a guest star who dies rather quickly.
Oh,
but,
well, you were in it at least.
yeah, first
There's
episode.
that. That's great. So, it's sort of a heavy storyline. Another movie that you were in, Wild and Blue, again, sort of a heavy line.
Yeah, that I did a long time ago, and I barely remember it.
Okay.
And I never got to see it.
Really?
Yeah, I never got to
It
see
might
it.
be better because it's very heavy. I watched it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you
How
about
was it?
Anyway, good, interesting,
Yeah.
very heavy.
Yeah.
Very heavy. But sort of what I gathered from some of your previous work is that it is rather serious. You have a
yeah.
penchant for sort of serious
Yeah.
roles, and being someone so young, you know, it's sort of interesting to have that instinct
Mm-hmm.
for such serious emotional things. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like doing this. It's you know, it'd be fun to try some comedy, but more of the comedy where it's like based in reality.
Okay.
You know, that kind of like absurd kind of comedy stuff instead of, you know, the more happy. I don't know. I
Right.
gravitate towards dark things. I'm not sure why.
You're very good at it.
Thank you.
I think is why. I mean, you're believable. You're
Thank
very
you.
believable and convincing, which I think says a lot. I think that drama is sort of difficult to, you know, portray in a very convincing way. And you're fantastic. And
Thank you.
even in Bloodline, just seeing our little clips of you,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like so like heart-wrenching and convincing and just
Yeah.
intense.
It is intense.
Yeah.
It's an intense show.
It
The
is.
whole process of Bloodline is an intense thing.
It is. It's a very
Yeah.
intense experience. It
Yeah.
truly is. One of your previous projects I want to talk about quickly because I watched it was Timmy Muldoon.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's really quick. It's a short little piece, but it's great. Like
Yeah.
you're very young in it.
Yes, I am.
But again, great. And it's interesting because it starts out as sort of like a home movie kind of thing, and then it turns
Right.
into this like Hollywood blockbuster, and like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in it.
Yeah.
And then it reverts back to
Right.
home movies. I just thought it was a really fun project.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
wasn't it?
It was a really
I
fun
wanted
project.
to ask you about it.
It was just this group of guys headed by Tony Ascenda, and they were from Emerson, and they were doing this short, and I kind of just saw it online and went to the audition and got involved, and then it kind of became this very like you know, I ended up going to another one of their auditions that they held for the for the character of the wife, who, you know, is played by a person my age.
Yes.
A little younger actually. To see who I would cast if I were casting my own home movie. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of, it was like this collaborative thing, and then it became this blockbuster feel, and it was really cool, and it was kind of the first thing I did.
Yeah, it's sort of the first thing I've seen.
Yeah, the
like
first
that.
thing I did that was actually something.
Yeah. How fun.
It was.
That's
it was
really
a
cool.
fun. It was a
Cool.
fun shoot.
I'm like excited for you that you get that memory in
Yeah.
your life. It was that cool. Check it out. It's on YouTube. That's where I
Yeah.
watched it. So you've been acting for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd love to know how you got into it and how you kind of found your passion.
Well, I was 4 years old,
Okay.
and I was watching Disney's Beauty and the Beast in my living room. And up to the day where I kind of made the decision, I would act out certain scenes from Beauty and the Beast as the Beast, and every day I would do this. You know, this was like my favorite thing to do. Is I would pretend to do the wolf scene or the scene right after that or whatever. And one day I was watching it and I just kind of blurted out, "Mom, I want to be in a movie."
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. And she was like, "Well, I don't know if we can do that, but there's a theater close by." And so I started doing theater, and I did Annie Get Your Gun was the first thing that I did as little Jake.
Oh.
I was 4.5.
Oh, that's so great. I can just picture it.
Yeah, and then I started doing more theater, and eventually it went from community theater to professional theater, and then I was 10, I think, and one of the directors of A Christmas Story, which I did in Orlando, the director Tad, ended up being like, "Hey, you should get an agent. I know one, and you should go see her."
Perfect.
And that ended up being Tracy Danielle of Brevard Talent Group, who I'm still with. And she's wonderful. And then it kind of became film and
snowballed.
TV. Yeah, and it was a slow, you know...
A tiny snowball.
Yes, a very small snowball on a very not steep hill.
That's okay. Hey, man, you're 17.
Yeah.
You're doing great things.
Yeah, I'm okay.
That hill might be a little steeper than you're thinking, but that's very exciting. So you're from Florida.
Yes, I am.
How do you, okay, so I feel like the sort of thought process is, oh, we have to go to Hollywood. Like, we have to go to California to, you know, cultivate this career in, you know, Hollywood. How has it been being from Florida? Have you stayed in Florida your entire
I
life?
have stayed in it most of my life.
Okay.
I spent 8th grade in Burbank.
Okay.
And I got enrolled in school at Jordan and all that, and that was kind of like the, you know, do the LA thing year. And that actually ended up being really helpful, and I met some important people, and I did an episode of NCIS LA.
Okay.
Where I played the son of a maniac, and I tried to poison the entire city, and it's...
I mean, you'd have to. It's NCIS,
right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so that was fun.
That's amazing.
And then I went back home, and my dad works at the university, and so he couldn't come out with us, and it was just me and my mom in a little tiny apartment for a year.
How interesting.
Yeah, it was a weird year, but it was
a good year.
Very important to you know how
Sometimes
things
you need
happened.
that.
Yeah,
A little change that makes a difference.
yeah.
Yeah. So so kind of going back to Florida, I know that they've done all their casting in Florida for Bloodline, right? So is that kind of how they tapped into you?
Yeah, it was funny. The original thing that happened was I sent in a tape for the young Danny character, who I ended up playing.
Yeah.
And then I shot kind of intermittently as young Danny, and they were just these weird little flashback things, and that was a really tough role, very physically.
Yeah.
I mean,
emotionally, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I trained to dive for like multiple weeks before actually going and doing one scene. Because I had the whole Sarah thing. I had to dive down.
Exactly.
And I couldn't do it at first.
She loses her necklace underneath.
Right.
We see her go in after it, and then you follow trying to rescue her. That's what we know from season 1.
Yeah, and so I trained to do that, and then actually I wasn't able to end up doing it because of, you know, I'm a minor and I can't do that sort of thing.
Oh, really?
But so that was kind of disappointing. But oh well, I was ready to do it.
That's very interesting. Well, now you can do it in your free time.
Right. I can dive 15 feet and not die.
Hey, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment.
And then at the end of the first season, when I thought I had wrapped, and they, you know, it was the last scene, and they sent me home, and we were still in the Keys. And then we got this call where they were like, "Hey, there's this other role that we'd like you to read for, and it's his son." And I was like, "What?"
You're like, "But I'm him."
Right.
How's this gonna work?
And so I did, and I got it, and
Yes.
it was all very kind of crazy and last minute, and I think it happened within 3 days. Was I auditioned and got the role and then shot it,
Fantastic.
and that became the end of the first season, and it was very strange and wonderful.
Like so quick, so
yeah.
fast.
Oh, everything on that show is
So fast.
Is fast.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a lot more to ask you about Bloodline, but
Okay.
I'd love to hold that for just a moment because I'd love to play a little game with you, sort of just a getting to know you game.
Okay.
I want to ask you some questions, and I want you to just answer like what comes into mind first, or what you like, or just let's
Okay.
let's get to know each other.
Cool.
Or rather, let me get to know you.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
feel free to send questions this way, but I'm just saying. Okay, so the first thing I want to know is if you won $1 million today, what's the first thing you would do with the money that you got? I know it's a tough one. You could do so many things. $1 million, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Cars, vacations, charity, animals.
If there was something that I could do, and I'm not exactly sure what that thing would be that I could do with $1 million, but to help with the climate change issue,
Yes, environmental.
that would definitely be something.
Wonderful. That'd be like on the top of my list too.
Yeah, because that's scary.
That is very scary. Listen to him; he knows. Okay, favorite animal.
I
I know animals are great. I love them all
I know.
too. That'd be a hard one for me.
I had one. It used to be gorillas.
Okay.
I still think gorillas are really cool.
Gorillas are amazing.
Owls are also really cool.
Yes, they're so wise.
Yeah.
Okay, day or night? Which
Night.
do you prefer?
Night.
Me too.
Yes.
I'm a night owl. Look at that. If you could have any superpower, what would you have? I would want them all. It's hard to narrow it down.
Yeah.
For me.
I What's the one that the Scarlet Witch has?
Ooh, I don't know. Scarlet
Okay,
Witch?
because she's the one who can what's it called when you can move things and
telepathy?
telekinesis?
Telekinesis?
I think telekinesis.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a great one.
Because I'm not sure if that means you can fly too, since you can move your own body. I don't know.
That is very deep. I've
don't
never
know.
considered it that deep, but I think I'm with you. If you can move other things, why couldn't you move yourself?
Right.
I like it, Owen.
And if you can move waves, then you can move brain
Let's
waves
go
too.
with it. I think that's the top choice there. Desert or ocean? I'm throwing some curveballs at you
man.
now. I know they're both good. It's tough. It's tough. Do you surf?
I don't.
Do you ride motorcycles?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
I guess ocean. I guess I'd go with ocean
Okay.
probably.
ocean's great. It's very healing.
don't know.
The salt water is very healing.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some not so great experiences in the ocean also,
okay.
but like jellyfish love me.
Really?
I'm a jellyfish magnet,
You've got
Yeah.
You've got the
especially in the Keys.
scent, the jellyfish. Oh, right. We're gonna get back to that.
Yeah.
I have some interesting comments for you about the Keys. Favorite candy?
Chocolate.
Okay, fair enough.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Yes.
I feel like until I was like 20, like in my early 20s, I had to acquire the taste for dark chocolate. It was always milk chocolate. So that's very mature of you, Owen.
Thank you.
The dark chocolate. Favorite TV show or one that you're watching right now that you love?
Oh man.
Or
Honestly,
what type of
I haven't gotten to
Yeah?
watch a lot of TV shows, but
That's okay. Do you prefer like comedic ones or dramatic ones? What ones do you tend to gravitate to?
I tend to gravitate towards dramatic ones.
Okay.
I saw one episode of Sherlock.
Okay.
And that was amazing.
Yes. Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also saw a few episodes of Breaking Bad, and that was also amazing.
Oh, you need to invest in the
so,
whole thing.
Yeah, I know. My friends are
well
all
worth
telling
it.
me to do that, and
It's so good.
haven't.
You'll find the time. You'll like it. It'll
Yeah.
be great. Okay, so since you are an actor, who would you love to work with, living or dead? Like the ultimate
Jack Nicholson.
co-star. Jack Nicholson. Okay, Jack, you heard it.
Yep.
If you could only have one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, it's so sad. Oh.
Sweets,
No.
pizza,
Probably not.
seafood,
No.
greens. Asparagus?
No.
Okay.
Can it be like
Yes, it can be
a
whatever
combination
you want.
of things?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then burgers.
Okay.
Because then you have, and burgers are just great, but then
Yeah.
you can also take it apart and you get individual things.
Very true.
I don't know.
I
That
like
might be
it.
cheating.
That's okay. It's allowed. It's allowed today. Today only. Your favorite holiday?
Halloween.
I was hoping you would say that because it's my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what do you like about it? Do you believe
It's
in
Halloween.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
That's okay.
But-
Owen, a little bit of me is hurt, but that's
Sorry.
okay. And like literally that was my next question. I was hoping you were going to say yes because I was going to ask him if you believe in ghosts. Would you rather eat a stick of butter or a whole jar of mayonnaise? While you're thinking, I'll say that
yeah.
when I was little, I used to love butter. And I would eat like a ton of butter when I was little, like by choice. I wanted this. So
Wow.
I might choose a stick of butter. I'm just saying. That's me.
I
And this is the ultimate stumper, guys.
I guess butter, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, there we have it. There's Owen, everyone. Now
I
we
don't
know
know.
him. We've
I
gotten
feel
to
like
know him
it's
very well.
Less, like it's just more
It's
natural.
like yes. I think that's my
don't know.
inner dialogue too.
I don't know. I wouldn't do either.
They're both pretty intense.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm just excited you like Halloween. We can go back to that if you want. Okay, great. So now that we know you a little better, Owen, I would love to talk more about Bloodline.
Yeah.
So I've been saying since the beginning, we're just so excited for season 2.
Yeah. Me too.
Last season on all of our recaps, we got a chance to talk to a lot of the cast members, which was really exciting. And we got to know a little bit about the casting process and the filming process, but I'd love to know about you. So you were mentioning that the jellyfish love you.
Oh, yes.
Especially
Yeah.
in the Keys. We've heard from everyone else that filming in the Keys was sort of tough. Environmentally, there's like mosquitoes and problems. So what was your time like down there?
It's I don't know if I'm a little more used to it than some of the others, at least,
'Cause you're
because
from
I
there.
am from there. But
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the others are from there as well. But yeah, it's definitely, I wear a lot of bug spray. And I mean, we should be sponsored by like a bug spray company that instead of like beer,
using
that
so
should
much
be
of it.
our like product placement.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of bugs, and whenever I shoot the young Danny scenes, I always come out of the water with jellyfish stings. I'm not sure if they're
really?
jellyfish or if they're like sea lice or something, but they'll be like up and down me, and they're just kind of like.
No. That sort of sounds
Yeah.
awful.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
okay.
it's the ocean, it's Florida.
Good. That's
Oh, well.
interesting.
They
I
go
feel
away in a few
like-
days.
So I'm from California. I've gone to the beach my whole life. I've never met a jellyfish. And I've never met like sea creatures or sea lice or anything like that.
They're
Is that like Florida only maybe?
I don't think it's Florida only, but it's definitely Florida.
Okay.
They
The South,
are
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I remember season 1 when they were training me, we would go out in like open ocean, and one of the cool things about the Keys is that it's just incredibly clear water.
Yeah.
And you can see
To the
forever.
floor.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see to the ocean floor. But every 10 feet or so where they put me, at least to practice diving, there was just this huge jellyfish that would just kind of float by.
Oh God, it haunted you. It just followed you.
Yeah, but they were like lots. And so, but I mean, they don't really bother you, and you can kind of swim around them and weave
Okay.
through, and they float on the surface, so you see
that
them.
many you have to weave through?
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of keep your eye out and make sure that you're not going to run into one.
Right. Oh god, that sounds like very harrowing. Okay, so I've never been trained to deep sea dive or anything like that. What is that like? Tell me about that.
It's really cool.
Do you get licensed, or was it just for sake of
I
your
didn't
role?
get licensed. It was
Okay.
just for safety, and
Okay.
the Marine coordinator is amazing. His name is Rico, and he's just awesome. But it's really cool, and he started me out in a pool. And then after a while, we went out into the ocean, and he had me like dive down to the bottom, and there were reefs and fish and
So cool.
coral and stuff, and it was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So being from Florida, did you go to the beach a lot growing up? Are you a water
didn't.
kind of guy?
I'm really not.
You're an inland kind of guy.
I mean, I'm
What
like
kind of guy are you, Owen?
like if I could live anywhere, it would be like up north mountains,
Oh, okay.
like Vermont.
Okay.
I'm not really a beach person.
Okay.
But I don't mind it either. And after doing Bloodline, it brings back some nice feelings.
Yeah,
So I'm more of
certainly.
a beach person now than I was before.
Oh, good.
But yeah.
Well, they helped expose you.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the scenery in Bloodline 2 is
Oh, yeah.
beautiful. The Rayburn house is in the Keys.
Right.
I don't know if it's in the Keys, but it might be near the Keys.
Well,
'Cause
the actual house itself that we use for exteriors is
Okay.
is in the
Great.
Keys.
Yeah, because I feel like in an episode in season 1, Danny like went to the Keys away from the Rayburn house, so maybe the Rayburn house is not technically in the Keys. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's near and it's beautiful nonetheless.
Right.
So despite the wildlife and,
Oh, yeah.
and mosquitoes and everything, it is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
definitely
a
beautiful.
really cool place.
Yeah.
It took the first time I went down there, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Was it very different from where you lived? Where were you
is.
from?
I'm from like middle East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Not East Coast, sorry, West Coast, middle West Coast.
Okay.
And it's kind of, it's not very like salty, it's kind of swampy and kind of,
Yes.
you know,
Are you
there's
near
some-
Orlando? Are you from Orlando?
No, it's like an hour away from Orlando.
Oh, okay.
It's
Because Orlando's very swampy.
it's near. Yeah, it's like Orlando, only
Okay.
it's closer to the ocean. But the Keys are they're swampy, but they're also salt. So it's like mangroves and all that stuff that is on the show. But it's very different. It's very different. It's really cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks beautiful. It looks
Yeah,
like a very
it is.
like if you were to work anywhere, it does look like a cool place
Yeah.
to spend your time. Okay, so you lived in Florida. You
Mm-hmm.
sort of got involved in the casting process by living in Florida. The show
Right.
films in Florida. It's very Florida centric.
Yeah.
I'd love to know about your experience filming Bloodline and working with the actors that you did. Now, when you filmed, who
Mm-hmm.
did you actually get to work with?
Well, I started with, as Nolan at least. My first scene was with Kyle Chandler.
Okay.
And he is such a great guy, and he's like, he makes it really relaxed and fun and there's none of that kind of like what do you call it?
Like pretension?
Yeah,
or
there's none
sort
of that. It's
okay.
it's like
no attitude,
Right.
no sort of condescension or
right,
anything
exactly.
like
You
nice.
work on the scene together and you film it, and then you watch stupid videos and laugh together.
How fun.
And he's a great guy.
Which is so funny because John Rayburn scares me a little.
Oh yeah, no, John Rayburn is terrifying.
So to know that he's the opposite is wonderful.
He's so nice. He's wonderful. He always asks me when I'm gonna get a car, and he wants me to get either a truck or a sports car.
Wonderful. I'm kind of with him. I drive a truck.
Yeah, they're
I would agree.
yeah.
Very cool. Who else did you get to work with? Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
How is he?
He is the coolest guy.
He is the
he's
coolest
an
guy.
amazing actor.
Yes.
The first scene I had with him was, I think, in the restaurant, and he's teaching me how to chop vegetables
Okay.
as kind of his like student, but also his son. And this is in flashback.
Are we going to see this in season 2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
And it was like a 1.5 page scene, I think, when it was written. And he sees the script, and we go out into the set, and it's an actual kitchen of a real restaurant, and the guy's teaching us, how to do the thing, and he's very funny. Ben is like.
He's hilarious,
like afraid of knives.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got this thing where he's very kind of, he doesn't want.
So he doesn't
he was
cook
very
at home.
He was very protective of me with the knife. I don't know if he's afraid of knives, but he's afraid of me with the knives.
Okay.
And it was really nice. But no, he took the knife and they called action, and he just was Danny for like half an hour.
He just transformed.
He just improv the scene, kind of just like went off on this thing, and we just did it for like a long take, and they just kept rolling, and it was amazing. And I've never had that experience with another actor. And he's such a great guy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I know he's like, for me, definitely he's like the standout guy.
He's so good.
He's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's exciting, and even more exciting because your character is so intertwined with his. I mean, you play little Danny. You now play his son.
Right.
Like you're very intertwined.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, and with him sort of being done away with last season.
He's hardly done away with. He is very present.
And thank God, because we were so nervous. Like, we love Danny. Where's it going? But
he's there.
He's got a lot of involvement with season 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. So, so are we gonna find out more about the apartment that he lived in? I know you can't give me a lot of details, but maybe a yes or no. Because he lived in an apartment, and we were like, "What is this apartment? Did his family live there? Is his son there? Does he have a wife? What's happening?"
You'll find out more about the family that he had. I'm not actually sure how much of that is going to be part of the apartment.
Okay, I'm happy you worded it the way you did, because that makes me think of the fact that when we talked to a few of the cast members for season 1, a lot of them said that when they were filming, they did not know like anything beyond like their scene. They didn't know anything about the full story. Was that the same for you? Did you get a very limited idea?
First season, when I was young Danny, yes, as Nolan, they would give me the whole thing. Okay. I just don't remember a whole lot about his apartment in particular. There's a lot of stuff of him that that is completely overturned. And
Wonderful.
it's like it totally changes the whole. It's amazing. It's
oh
amazing.
God, I can't take it. I can't take it, guys.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Oh wow. Okay, so I mean, I just remember feeling the way I did when we ended our last episode for season 1, and I was like, "What is this apartment? Like, I needed to know so many things, and it left us hanging for so long."
Right.
So, like, thank God it's happening soon.
Yeah, there's a lot
I can't
that
take
you're
it.
gonna find out.
Great. So great.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you feel sort of overall that being from Florida, do you feel like that lent anything special to playing this role, kind of being from this family from Florida and whatever? I mean, like, you're sort of familiar with like the territory and the geography and the lifestyle. Do you think that helped in your character?
Yes, definitely. There's a part in episode 1 where I'm talking about like, where I've kind of been, and I mentioned Sarasota at one point, and that's like, I've been to Sarasota many, many times. Yeah. And so I kind of knew. It's
familiar.
Yeah, it's all very familiar, and I knew where my character had spent his life, and so that was really, really familiar.
Do you find that easier to play something that is so familiar?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes if it's like too familiar, it's a little bit weird, because then it's a little bit, it's
too close.
Right.
It's too personal.
But then you have to kind of like adjust for that.
Right.
And that's a little bit, nothing Nolan has really been through was terribly close to me. He's had a
Far more troubled, I'm sure.
Yes, he's
far more troubled. So,
Yeah.
So if I'm remembering correctly, you playing little Danny you look a little more like you, and then
Yeah.
Nolan looks a little different.
yes, he's
How did that sort of come about? Like, sort of the appearance of Danny's son versus little Danny.
well. Part of it was, this character has had a very tough background. And so his appearance of the hair over one eye and the snake bites and the, dark clothing and
the necklace.
The necklace, that's right. His kind of whole, dark look was kind of to cover up all the pain that he's had in the past. And so it's a big mask. And so, he puts on a big veneer in front of everybody to kind of distance himself and make himself invulnerable. But also, they had to make sure that when people saw me playing Nolan, it wasn't like, hey, that's the guy who played young Danny.
Yeah, because I never thought that. And,
Good.
And we watched every episode very closely here for our panel.
Yeah.
And I never once thought that's the same kid.
Good.
That's the same guy.
Good.
So it's great.
Yeah. No, the hair and makeup department did an amazing job. And actually, I think on Twitter, someone commented on a photo that another publication posted, and they were like, "That's not Owen Teague. That's somebody else." And I was
You were
like,
like, "It's me."
It's me. I just look a little different."
Fantastic. Okay, speaking of the casting, I do have to say, you look a lot like Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
And the casting that they did was like fantastic.
Casting is insane.
I mean,
all
the kids who are playing
Right.
them from the flashbacks, everybody looks like everybody.
Yeah.
And you look, I mean, like scarily close to Ben Mendelsohn, truly.
Yeah.
So for you to be him as a little kid or even his
Yeah.
son is just like fantastic.
it
Like, it's
worked
amazing they
perfectly.
found you.
Yeah.
Truly. So,
know.
So this is sort of a funny fact. Last season, when we did our panel, everybody in the world had binge watched Bloodline season 1. We watch it episode by episode so that we can like feel the surprise
Right.
from after show to after show, right? So we were like literally the only 4 people left in this world who
Yeah.
hadn't binge watched it. So
Yeah.
every episode it was like painful because everyone already knew. And even everybody who we interviewed was like, you haven't seen it? What's wrong with you? So,
Yeah.
so for my panel members and myself who are dying to know the full season 2 sort of outcome, can you give us anything without giving it all away of what we can expect for season 2?
It's
I know that's sort of an intense
It's
question,
crazy.
but it's crazy.
really crazy.
More than season 1?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was actually, I think it might have been, one of the other cast members described season 1 as a prologue to season 2. I think it might have been Ben, actually.
Okay.
And
Which is great because we need a lot more backstory.
Yeah, it's
sure.
it's really intense, and it's kind of how this family crumbles in the aftermath of Danny's death, and what these other new characters do when they enter the picture, and they're very dangerous, and the whole family is very dangerous to itself,
Right.
And so it's all it's all this big mess of insanity that happens, and it's really crazy.
And we're going to see so much more of you. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Owen, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I've loved getting to know you and more about Bloodline Season 2. This has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to our very special Spotlight on today with my special guest, Owen Teague from Bloodline Season 1 and 2. Be sure to tune into Bloodline Season 2 on Netflix starting May 27th. And then right after you watch the very first premiere episode, tune into AFTERBUZZ TV and check out our after show. We will be hanging out every week thereafter, covering all of the Bloodline Season 2 episodes. We're very excited. I've been your host, Blake V. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media. Owen, let everyone know where they can find you.
I'm at Real Owen Teague. I'm the
Everywhere?
real one. Everywhere.
He's the real
Everywhere.
one, guys.
I
No
don't know why
imposters.
I'm the real one.
He's
but
the
I'm
real one. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Owen, for joining us.
Thank you.
This has been AfterBuzz TV Spotlight on. See you guys later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.